Good afternoon everybody, welcome back to Market Insights with Linux and welcome to this new video in which I wanted to do a full update on Palantir. Now this is the first time I covered Palantir on its own. I have featured it in market updates before, but wanted to do a full update on that. I believe that there's quite a lot of people interested in Palantir, including myself. So I wanted to do a full fundamental but also technical update here on both the higher time frames and the lower time frames, right? So first of all, so that's what we're going to do. First, I wanted to start off with some fundamentals. Then we'll take a look at the higher time frame and then the lower time frame. And my thoughts on Palantir are quite clear and I think quite easy to understand as well. So that's what we'll do. So let's get right into it. Now, fundamentally, I am a little bit mixed on Palantir, of course. Or at least, of course, I think that's quite logical because Palantir is quite a strange company. I mean, on the first hand, it is a great company, right? And we can talk about the ethics of the company a lot, but ultimately, in terms of doing what a company needs to do, aka make money, innovate, have great products, they seem to be doing well, right? And I would say recent geopolitical and recent developments in general in the world are supporting the growth of Palantir. But then on the other hand, you do have this valuation of Palantir that is too high, also in my opinion, right? And I know Palantir has a little bit of a cult-like community. So therefore, I'd instantly like to say that, yes, I think the valuation is too high, but if there's one thing I've learned in the last years of trading, it's that, you know, saying the valuation is too high, while there still is so much momentum, is a dead sentence, all right? And there is going to be a huge amount of people shorting this because of the valuation, and it's just going to go up higher and higher until you no longer hear people screaming so loud that it's overvalued, right? Because as long as people scream that they think it's overvalued, the moment that nobody dares shorting this anymore, that is probably the moment that too high valuation will start to come down. But until then, I'm bullish, and I think the higher time frames confirm that. I mean, right here, we're looking at the daily time frame. I think I covered this somewhere at the beginning of May, and what I said then is that we were reaching the previous all-time high right here with quite a lot of momentum. And what I said is that usually when you see a structure like that, where you make an all-time high, you consolidate, and you rally back up into that with momentum, usually you break above that, and that is what we've done, right? So we consolidated a little bit right here, but ultimately on the higher time frames, we always held the uptrend. For the majority of the time, we also held the 7-day rolling VWAP, which is a great sign. Also on the lower time frames, we'll talk about that in a moment. So everything on the daily time frame is looking great, right? And I was thinking about, all right, well, what do I think is a fair price target right here for Palantir? And that's mainly based upon technicals. That's not based on fundamentals, because I think fundamentally it is overvalued. But we have 150 coming up. I think that's a little bit easy. That's a psychological resistance level, of course. There's some more interesting Fibonacci extension levels towards 160 and 165. So I would say for now that that's going to be my price target, and I do think we can rally into that. Now, on the lower time frames, though, it gets a little bit more interesting because of a recent downturn in the stock market in general. But also, well, mostly that, but also some technical bearish confirmations here with Palantir breaking down below this, you know, lower time frame relevant level at 140. I would actually say it's a little bit more likely on the lower time frames to pull back into this area right here at 133, 132 before we see bullish continuation. And I'm not saying 160 can be reached easily, right? I mean, it's most likely going to be quite slow and how we have been moving in the last couple of weeks, but I do think that that's most likely. The main level I'm looking at right now for support is right here, like I said, around 130 and a little bit higher. If we actually do see a major downturn in global financial markets, I would say we're going to drop down lower into 120, 125. But for now, that seems unlikely. I would say it's more likely that we're just going to stop at that, not first support level, but the first strong one right here, like I said, around 130, 132. And from there, like I said, I expect stability, but ultimately on the higher time frames, I expect the uptrend to hold for a continuation into that next price target. And that's what I think you need to know. If you're interested in more Palantir updates, let me know, right? Because this is the first video I did on that. So let me know, but that's it for now. Have a great Wednesday. Take care. FOMC tonight. Quick reminder, and bye.